everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Male Perspective. I am your host, Lana Reid, and today I have with me Mr. Ryan Jankowitz. He has an online program with kettlebells. Exercise, folks. And all of us have been stuck inside with this COVID-19, so he is definitely the man we want to talk to today. So first and foremost, Ryan, thank you for hanging out with me, and I look forward to hearing everything you have to say, although I might not want to. I look forward to it.
Well, it's my pleasure. Well, thanks for having me. This is going to be fun.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I try to make it enjoyable. So where am I speaking to you from today?
So I live in Silver Spring, Maryland, which is a suburb right outside of Washington, D.C.
Okay, Silver Spring, Maryland. D.C., a lot of activity going on there these last few weeks. Well, first and foremost, the kettlebell is your thing, your specialty.
It is.
And not too many people know the history, the origins of the kettlebell, but it's not really a American thing. So where does the kettlebell come from?
Sure. Well, it comes from Eastern Europe, primarily Russia, and it's actually been around for several hundred years. Eastern European countries use it as a form of physical exercise. The Russians would use it with their Olympic teams, their military, law enforcement. They found it to be very effective for becoming strong and having great stamina.
Okay.
It was around in the US in the early 1900s. Some of those old school strongmen, maybe you've seen pictures of guys like lifting odd objects over their head. They used to train with kettlebells.
Okay.
That was one of their tools that they used. And it kind of fell by the wayside because I think Americans we're into the next flashy big thing. And kettlebells aren't flashy. They're not easy to use. It requires a lot of patience and time to learn how to use it properly.
Okay.
Whereas a machine, it's very simple. You sit on it and it guides you on how to do the exercise. So kettlebells kind of fell by the wayside, though a Russian by the name of Pavel, he started the modern kettlebell movement here in the States in the early 2000s.
Okay.
With a company called Dragon Door. That's the company I'm certified through as a kettlebell instructor. And they created something called the Russian Kettlebell Challenge, which is now kind of evolved into the Russian Kettlebell Certification. And they teach coaches, personal trainers, or even just kettlebell enthusiasts how to use the kettlebell and how to coach other people with the kettlebell. So it's starting to gain some popularity here, but it's still definitely kind of an underground kind of fitness tool, which actually appeals to me and a lot of the people that I work with. Because, it's not flashy, but it's kind of like grimy and, you really got to get dirty.
Get in there, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I heard you say that you're certified. So did you just walk into a gym one day and say, that little thing right there, that looks interesting. So what was your introduction to the kettlebell?
Sure. So introduction was probably like 13, 14 years ago. I was working at a gym in Arlington, Virginia. At the time, I was studying some martial arts.
Okay.
And a new trainer started there who was already certified. I saw him working with the kettlebell. It just blew my mind because the movements he was doing, they were so explosive, and he used his entire body to move this hunk of iron. And it just really caught my eye and my attention. And I asked him, hey, can you show me a few things? And right away it clicked for me. As an athlete and someone who was studying martial arts, I saw so many parallels to martial arts with the breath control, using your total body to move the kettlebell, just like you use your entire body to throw a strike, like a punch or a kick. I was like, oh my God, I got to learn more. So I bought a book from Dragon Door. It was one of Pavel's first books. It was called Russian Strength Training Secrets for Every American.
So he targeted it for us. Okay.
Exactly. And just the way he wrote was very simple. He took very complex ideas and broke them down into very simple chunks. And it was the first time I had learned how to break down an exercise like the deadlift and how to tense certain muscle groups, how to use my breath properly.
Okay.
And it completely changed my whole mindset when it came to strength and movement. So I started looking into Pavel more and researching him and reading his books. And that's when I discovered the Russian Kettlebell Challenge, which I signed up for in 2011. And I drove up to, it was somewhere in Pennsylvania, like Philadelphia. and it was intense. I mean, it was
What
like,
is the kettlebell challenge?
sure. Well, it's now a certification, but it was a
Okay.
3-day certification. It's now down to 2 days.
Okay.
It's essentially boot camp for kettlebells.
Okay.
You learn a handful of movements. I mean, you really break them down into very tiny segments, so that way you can understand it. And more importantly, you learn how to coach it to other people, because that's what it was there for. It was for people who wanted to coach this, and really show other people how to use the kettlebell properly. But it was exhausting. It was 3 days of intense learning and physical activity. It was like drinking water from a fire hose. And I trained for 5 months for this certification, because it was very grueling physically. Because you would learn a movement, you would practice it, you would practice it again, you would practice it again, and you learn another movement, and you practice and you practice and you practice. You're doing this for 3 days, and the end of the third day, that's when you're actually tested. You have different strength and like stamina kettlebell tests you have to pass in order to earn your certification. So it was a grueling 3 days, but completely changed my career, and I'm definitely a better trainer for it.
I can see me now just on the sidelines, like, go Ryan, yay, woohoo! Eating some junk food, perhaps. Now tell me this. What's the difference between kettlebell and regular dumbbells, or is it better to use one or not, or
Sure, great question. It really comes down to personal preference. I think a dumbbell is great. I find with the kettlebell, there are some advantages because it's an asymmetrical object, meaning that the bottom of the kettlebell is huge, and then the top of it is very light, and it's just a handle. The asymmetrical design of it forces more muscles to engage, especially in the core and around the shoulder, because we do a lot of overhead stuff with the kettlebell. So we automatically engage more muscle groups. I actually find it more comfortable pressing a kettlebell overhead than I do with a dumbbell. I think another part of the kettlebell is the information that comes along with it. I had taken a lot of different personal training courses and gone to a lot of conferences when I first got certified in 2005. And no course or certification I took broke down movement like the RKC did. I mean, we went into very fine detail on, common moves like squatting, push-ups, pressing, deadlifting. It broke it down into such great detail that I came away with so much more knowledge. I think that was the difference, was the amount of knowledge I gained and how I'm able to communicate it to people. That was the big difference for me between kettlebells and everything else I had learned and studied.
Now, I've heard a few people, come across a few people who have tried kettlebells. And years ago, one of the personal trainers that I had, he really swore by it. It's probably why he's not my personal trainer anymore. But anyways, one of the complaints, I won't say a lot, one of the complaints, and as I think about it, it was probably the only complaint, is people were experiencing muscle strain. So I'm assuming that you really, really have to hone in on your technique when it comes to kettlebells. You just can't be randomly out there swinging stuff around, right?
Absolutely. You're totally right. I like to tell people kettlebells, it's like learning a new sport. If you had never played basketball before, you're not going to go play in a pickup game. You probably want to go practice how to dribble, pass, shoot, and play defense, right? It's the same thing with the kettlebell. You need to learn how to deadlift it, swing it, press it, do Turkish get-ups, and then you go work out with it. I think that's where people get hurt, that they see a kettlebell, oh, I'll pick that up, no problem. And they have no idea how to swing it, and that's when they hurt their back or they strain a muscle. So it requires patience, and it's hard for a lot of people to get into that mindset, oh, I'm just going to practice before I work out. I think that's the most difficult part, is getting people to slow down, because people want to go, go, go. They want to sweat. They want to be sore. And it's like, oh, let's bring it down. Let's think about the long game.
How many, I don't know if you know or not, but how many of there are you out there that are certified in kettlebell instruction?
Not a lot.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I probably had a legitimate reason to be mad at my personal trainer. He probably wasn't even certified. Just pick this up and go. So
I mean, it's possible he did receive some instruction on it. I would hope he did. But the personal training world it's saturated throughout the U.S. with personal trainers. There's, oh gosh, I can't give you an exact quote, but hundreds of thousands of personal trainers across the U.S. alone. Throughout the entire world, many personal trainers. It's insane, which is good because it promotes fitness and health. Personal trainers probably make up, or kettlebell trainers, those who are certified, probably make up less than 1% of the personal training population.
Wow.
Because the kettlebell certifications that I have and the ones that I know are out there that are legit, they're very hard to pass.
Okay.
It's a time commitment with training for it, and then going to the certification and spending the time there to learn, be critiqued, which can be hard for people, to get kind of broken down and then built back up. It's kind of an ego check to a certain degree. And then also the financial investment. Sometimes you have to go fly, and then you got to pay for a hotel and then pay for the certification. So there is an investment. And all those things can prevent people from going to get it. Whereas, if a personal training certification comes to town, it's a one-day thing, boom, that's easy.
Okay.
But if you have to go fly to California,
you really have to be vested in the kettlebell.
Exactly.
Okay. So you personally, how many times a week do you work out with your kettlebell?
I do 3 days a week because that's what works for my body. I've done different programs where 5 days a week is what was called for. Just from personal experience, I found 3 days a week, about 45 minutes each workout is perfect for me for maintaining my fitness and the body that I want.
Now, is it a combination of you do your kettlebell and you also do cardio as well, or is kettlebell exclusively your workout?
I do a combination. I enjoy running when it's warm, which it's not right now. But we have a bike. I'm lucky enough that my wife and I, we invested in like a Nordic track bike that's similar to the Peloton. You log on, you can join a class, or you're like out in the wilderness somewhere. So I enjoy doing cardio because I think it's important to be a well-rounded athlete. It doesn't matter if you play sports or you just want to look out or work out for your health. You got to have cardio. You got to have strength. You got to be flexible.
Okay. Now the Kettlebell Starter Kit, what is it like? Maybe the 10 pounds or 1 or 2? I mean, how do you segue into this?
Sure. It all depends because everybody's starting from a different point. For men who are strong and have a weight training background, usually a 35-pound kettlebell is a good place to start, or 16 kilograms if you're from anywhere else in the world. From there, I would scale both down and up. So for a guy, if first up to 35, maybe get a 25 and also a 45. That way, if something's easy, you can go heavier. If it's too hard, you can go a little bit lighter. So I think starting with those 3 weights for an experienced guy is a good place to start. For women who have experience with weight training, maybe somewhere between a 20 to 25 pound kettlebell is a good place to start. And again, scaling down by about 5 pounds, like a 15, and scaling up to maybe a 30 is a good set of kettlebells. I think the beauty of the kettlebell is that you really only need one to get started. It's the knowledge that is more important than how many.
Now, is the kettlebell good for, say, my grandmother in assisted living?
Probably not. No, I have worked with a lot of senior citizens who are in their 60s and 70s, and if they're active and they have the desire to learn it, then it is very beneficial because it can teach them how to get up off the ground, which is a huge problem for older adults. It can teach them how to use their hips to pick things up off the ground rather than their lower back. So if the ability is there and the desire to learn is there, then it's great for any age.
Now, going back to what you said earlier, you said for the guys that's in fit, 35 pounds is what you recommend to start off. But is that the smallest weight?
No, they make them as small as maybe, I've seen like 5-pound kettlebells. So there's a massive range going from maybe 5 pounds all the way up to, I've heard of 200-pound kettlebells.
No.
Yeah, I've never seen one, The heaviest one I've worked with was about 123 pounds. That was big.
I mean, because I'm thinking, I'm trying to figure out the transition, because you see the 200 pounds, maybe the dumbbells, and there's balance involved. But if you're just talking about 200 pounds of, I'm thinking the exercises I see in the gym and stuff,
Sure.
like the swing lift, I'm like, wow, that's impressive.
It is. It's very impressive.
Impressive. Okay, let me ask you this, because as I mentioned in the opening, we are in the middle of this COVID thing, and everybody's gained 20, 15 pounds sitting at home, eating everything and anything. You have a 90-day kettlebell program that you have online. So that's something that people can use right now. What is that about? What does that entail? What's all?
Sure. So once someone signs up for the program, they would receive a welcome email that has a curriculum. So they're going to see every single exercise they're going to be learning each week. During that first week, they'll receive a video lesson on how to deadlift and swing a kettlebell. So that's where we start with the deadlift and the swing. So every single week.
Hold on. Yes. Let me interrupt you. Deadlift. What body parts that's this, right?
Yeah, that's when you just stand straight up and the kettlebell is in front of your hips.
So is that working out legs and arms?
Yes.
Okay, now go ahead.
Yeah, it's a good total body exercise.
Okay, now go ahead with what you're
saying. So each week you're going to receive a video lesson on how to perform each movement properly. And in the middle of the program, I go into nutrition and mindset, because I do have a nutrition background from college. Every month, at the beginning of the month, I will also send 12 workouts that are already planned for you that'll save you time, and it will logically progress your strength and endurance over time. So it starts pretty easy, pretty short workouts. And over time, it gets a little more challenging over the course of the 90 days. Okay. And every week on Tuesday, we do a group Zoom call. So this is good for accountability. It's a good way for us to connect, because we are working virtually. Okay. So it's an opportunity for people to demonstrate their form to me live if they want to do that. They can ask me about certain workouts. They can ask me about nutrition or just anything health and fitness related. It's totally open Q&A. It's for the people. Whatever they want to ask me, it's their time to ask me. Okay. And as kind of a bonus, people can submit videos to me, send them in any media, whatever's comfortable for them. If they're struggling, let's say, with the swing, they can record themselves doing a few reps of the swing, send it to me, I'll analyze it, and I'll make a response video and send it back. Say, hey, Lana, in your swing, I noticed that you're rounding your back at the bottom. Try this drill to improve your back and use your hips more. I found that to be very effective for improving form and staying safe while working out.
Okay. So form and all, I guess I'm getting the impression that the kettlebell is really an equipment tool that you have to really focus and take your time. This is not an exercise routine that, I've got 30 minutes, let me rush through this. You really need to be into.
Absolutely. You hit the nail right on the head there. Okay. If you're willing to put the time up front to learn how to use it properly, eventually you can get to those 20, 30-minute exhausting workouts with the kettlebell and still stay safe. Okay. But if you're willing to put the time in up front, then you'll stay safe for the rest of your life.
Okay. Oh no. I work out at home. I always have, even before COVID-19, and I have dumbbells. But I was looking like a month ago before I even connected with you. I was like, well, maybe I'll get a kettlebell to do my squats. That's what I was thinking, in my world, my little fancy world, I'm moving up. I was gonna get a kettlebell to do my squats. But I was like, okay, listening to you talk, I'm thinking that I won't be able to just zoom through my squats anymore.
Right.
I'll have to focus a little bit more. So is it, when you're using kettlebells, is it the same philosophy? Like I should exercise, give the muscles a day to relax, then do it again? Or can I just do 3 days straight and then be off for the rest of the week?
Yeah, you could do 3 days straight and be off. You really just have to listen to your body. Some people can work out 5 days a week without taking a break in between, and then they take the time off for the weekend. Other people need a day of rest in between. So just listen to your body and adjust accordingly.
Okay. Okay. So you also mentioned earlier that you have a nutrition background. I think I read that you're a certified nutritionist as well.
Yes.
So when you were combining diet with exercise, uh, settle the argument for us today here. Carbs or no carbs?
It depends.
You were supposed to settle the argument. This is the big debate. Carbs or no carbs?
So let's first define carbs.
Okay.
So carbs come in many forms. The healthiest forms of carbohydrates are vegetables and fruits.
Mm-hmm.
So we want those in our diet because they promote a strong immune system. They have a lot of vitamins and minerals. They have fiber, which is important for our digestive health. They're low in calories. Vegetables have 0 sugar. Vegetables and fruit, with the exception of an avocado, have 0 fat.
Mm-hmm.
So the more vegetables and fruit you eat compared to pasta, bread, and cereal, the more you're going to reduce the number of calories you're taking in, which is part of the weight loss equation, reducing the number of calories we eat.
Okay.
And then we have like starchy carbohydrates that come from like potatoes, rice, pasta, and bread. Okay. And those things are fine. There's organic sources. Mm-hmm. Local sources are going to be the best, obviously. And the best time to eat those things are after you work out, because we can take advantage of our body's metabolism. So when carbohydrates are ingested into the body, they're broken down into glucose.
Sugar.
Yep. That's a form of sugar. And our muscles use glucose as its first form of energy. Whether we're lifting weights or running, that's what we go for first. Mm-hmm. So when we deplete our glucose stores in our muscles from working out, we can then replete our muscles by having, healthy forms of carbohydrates, potatoes and rice after we work out, because it's going to go right to the muscles. The muscles are hungry. They're going to suck up those calories and those carbohydrates. Okay. Now, where people get into trouble is having carbohydrates all throughout the day in massive quantities. Uh-huh. That's where people start to experience maybe some pre-diabetic conditions. It's just too much energy, too much glucose, too much sugar. So that's where we can balance it out by eating more fruits and vegetables, having lean sources of protein and healthy sources of fat. Okay. So one of the things I try and convey to people is have well-rounded meals. Okay. Do you have vegetables on your plate? Do you have a source of protein? A little bit fat, and maybe some starchy carbohydrates.
So after my workout, I can get a big baked potato with cheese and butter and sour cream and say, well, Ryan said it was okay. He said carbs after my workout was okay.
Yeah, reward yourself.
So with the kettlebell, do you have to increase your protein, or is it just normal?
Just do what feels right for you. Okay. Everybody is going to have a different amount of protein that they can tolerate. Oh. If your goal is to build a lot of muscle, whether it's for bodybuilding or some sort of sport that requires a lot of muscle mass, then yes, you're going to need to eat more protein than usual. Okay. If you just want to look good naked and you just want to be, a functioning adult, just have the right amount of protein at each meal. You don't have to supplement with shakes or bars or anything like that. Okay. Just make sure you have some protein at each meal that you eat.
Okay. All right. Now you also have some free stuff on your website, which, yes. And people, we really struggle. We all have the best intentions, starting these exercise regimes, and, sometimes it's difficult for us to stay focused, but free is free. People like free. So, I think that's a good tool. So what is it that we can go and find on your website to kind of get us on that track and get us going?
Sure. So on my website, when you go to the homepage, on the upper right corner on the navigation bar, there's a little tab that says free kettlebell workouts. If you click on that, there's going to be a beginner workout plan and an advanced workout plan that you can download. Within each one of those plans, you'll discover instructions on how to perform each exercise properly, because I'm big on form. Mm-hmm. You'll also have workouts that you can follow over the course of the week that are planned for you to save you time and to take out some of the guesswork. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, as another free bonus, a day after you download the plan, you're going to get a free nutrition guide.
Okay.
Just giving you some really simple to follow, easy to implement strategies for nutrition. We're not trying to overhaul the diet. That's very hard to do. Just a couple of easy things that you can do right now to improve your nutrition.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, if somebody wants to become Ryan one day and become a certified Russian kettlebell instructor, how long is the process? Who do they connect with? What steps do they take?
Sure. That's a great question. So I'm actually hosting a kettlebell certification at the end of March in Bethesda. I have a gym that I work with where we host certifications. But if someone wants to learn where or when certifications are happening, you can go to dragondoor.com and just look under workshops and find the RKC workshop. There are a couple of different workshops. There's the HKC, which is kind of a beginner entry-level course. It's a one-day course. Then there's the RKC, which is a 2-day course. And then there's the RKC level 2.
Okay.
So yeah, go to dragondoor.com, look for workshops and HKC and RKC, or just get in touch with me because I know all that stuff already. And
interesting.
Yeah, I'm in touch with everybody. So
across the world prior to COVID, are there kettlebell competitions?
There are. Yes. It's not something I know a whole lot about.
Okay.
From what I have gathered, there are 2 schools of kettlebell training.
Okay.
There's hardstyle training, which is what I'm certified in.
Okay.
And then there is sport, kettlebell sport, which is the competitions. The forms, they look slightly different. There's a lot of subtleties to each one, but there are competitions throughout the world.
Yeah, I was just, it flashed what I used to watch on TV a couple of years ago, the strongman competition.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I was just picturing you guys up there doing things with the kettlebell. It's a very unique piece of equipment, that, when I used to walk in the gym years ago, I never used to see it, but recently it's like, oh, they're everywhere now, so they're becoming more popular there.
Yeah, it is becoming more popular, which is a good thing. But again, we need to focus on proper form first.
Yeah, that's the thing. People tend to be gung-ho. Oh, I've got this. Let me just get it. Oh yeah, I have to take 2 of these, and I'm just, and then the next day they can't walk. But.
Right.
Okay, Ryan. Well, we're gonna do the random question.
Oh, all right.
And then I want you to tell everybody how they connect with you if they want to do the exercise routine or how they want to learn to be like you or anything like that. But it's good that you're online because, this world has taught us recently in this last year that we need to learn how to transition online to almost everything. So let's see what we got here.
All right.
Let's see. Let's see. Should you put your socks on first or your pants?
Let's define pants. Does that mean underwear or your jeans?
Your jeans. We'll go jeans.
Okay, I'm socks first.
Socks first, huh? I'm not gonna walk around with socks first. Oh, right. Tell us, how we connect with you and sign up for your online kettlebell program so we can look sexy naked. Because who doesn't want to be sexy naked, even if you're by yourself? If you're just walking by the mirror, like, woo, I look good.
Yeah, we all want to look good naked. We want to look good in a bathing suit. It's okay to be vain.
That's right.
You can go to my website, which is rjkettlebell.com. And there you can download my free kettlebell programs, or you can schedule a consultation with me if you want to learn more about my paid programs.
Okay.
Or you can find me on Facebook, Ryan Jankowitz. I post a ton of free content on Facebook, a lot of kettlebell tips, nutrition and mindset tips as well. And then I've also got a YouTube channel. Just search for Ryan Jankowitz, and it's all about the kettlebell on YouTube.
Awesome. Well, I have enjoyed speaking with you today, learning about the kettlebell the proper way. Like I said, I've been exposed to it, but I don't think I've been exposed to it the proper way. So it's always good to talk to people who know what they're talking about. So thank you for the information and hanging out with me today. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you, Lana. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. That's all for this week's episode of The Male Perspective. I am your host, Lana Reid, and I will see everybody next time.